Welcome back. As we promised, we are going to tackle together the latest developments in the Palestinian territories in light of the Israeli provocative decisions to continue with expanding its military offensive in Gaza. And yesterday, it already flattened high-rise buildings, claiming that they are used by Hamas. And of course, yesterday there was also an important meeting where our top diplomat, Foreign Minister Abdul received the General Commissioner of the UNRWA, Philip Lazzarini, and they held a joint press conference. We are going to tackle all these events together and to continue with asking the question when this is going to have an end with our dear guest live here in the studio, Mr. Rahman, a journalist. Thank you very much for being with us, sir, and a very good morning.
And a very good morning to you. Thanks always for having me.
Thank you, sir. Always a pleasure. Before going into details, how do you see the developments of the Israeli genocide war in Gaza with the their orders to thousands or hundreds of thousands of Palestinians to leave and to flatten high-rise buildings with their always claims that they are used by Hamas?
The level of assault and the aggression is escalating as we are speaking. It didn't start on October 7th. It was started more than 100 years ago. So in the past 5 years, or maybe in the past 3 years, the level of the aggression was escalated that like has never been before. Too many powers, too many vicious hands are supporting the aggression against the Arabs in the occupied lands, against the human rights, against the international law, with all weapons, with all supplies, with all backup economically whatsoever. So we have witnessed that escalation, all the way that we are witnessing today the declaration officially that they are meaning to establish what they call it Greater Israel, according to false texts of the Torah and false historical texts also. I believe that with those lies are backed up heavily and severely with vicious powers and colonialism powers that are still manipulating or try to manipulate the international community.
Sir, how do you see the importance of thousands of people protesting in Tel Aviv and directing a message to American President Donald Trump to interfere and to stop the war in Gaza and to guarantee the release of their hostages? How do you see this as a kind of pressure on the Israeli cabinet or the Israeli Prime Minister, to be accurate?
Let me express this in 2 points. What they call it, marches or protesters in Tel Aviv against the policies of Netanyahu, they are only concerned about the lives of the hostages, and some are protesting the ugly policies taken by Netanyahu. But we can never separate that scene from what's going on in Europe, in the US, in the heart of the free world, where peoples are protesting against the whole Zionist existence as an existence, and protesting against the brutal crimes against the Arabs in the occupied lands, and protesting against the claims of the Zionist existence, talking about its rights in our own land as Arabs. The whole world now is being revived with conscience, with clear conscience, and trying to not to respond to the...
This is it, sir. How do you see the feelings of the Israelis now that they are isolated and that now the whole world saw the real ugly face of the Israelis with their genocide war and with using starvation against civilians, especially women and children, and even with the WHO director Tawadros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, who asked the Israeli government to stop using starvation as a tool or as a weapon, with hundreds of Palestinians dying, including more than 130 children.
That will take me to the other part of the 2 points I'm talking about here. The second thing here is the cabinet led by Netanyahu doesn't care anymore with what the ex-leaders of the Zionist existence cared most, which is the lives of their own
citizens,
subjects. So I believe they don't care anymore how many hostages being taken, only they are using them as an excuse to continue the aggression. And also they are meaning and they are taking steps towards expanding the borders of these units' existence, with strong influence in Syria, with the cooperation with the made-up regime in Syria. Of course, the leader of the Al-Qaeda organization.
We are not going to go to other countries or to interfere into their internal affairs. Let the Syrians or let every people decide for themselves.
Well, of course.
Returning back to this, because I'm going to put all these pieces of the puzzle together with the joint press conference of Foreign Minister Badr Abdul yesterday and Philip Lazzarini, the General Commissioner of the UNRWA. As Egypt is renewing in every occasion its firm stance regarding supporting the Palestinian cause and with more access to humanitarian aid and to give more humanitarian aid to the Palestinians in Gaza. How do you see this renewing our stance in every occasion?
Our standards are solid and has never been changed since the very beginning of the crisis. Egypt is having this role as the armor, the shield of the rights, the Arabic rights in the occupied lands since the very beginning and all the way until the end of this colonization. Today, tomorrow, next year, next decade is going to be ended with or without, they like it, and only with the leadership of Egypt. Without Egypt, we would never have a Palestinian case. In the beginning, it would have been totally vanished in the thin air, and it was swallowed by the Zionist army. So our efforts are standard, strong, firm, but only we need to change the concept of what we are dealing with here right now. Yesterday, in the past decades, we were dealing with the other part of a peace agreement. But right now, that other part is violating each and every peace treaty he has ever signed, either with Egypt or with the Arabs. I believe that expanding the aggression all the way away from the borders of what they call it, the Zionist existence, is a threat to our own national security as Arabs and as Egypt as a leading role in this region. So we need to change the strategy. We need to be stronger and firm, especially.
I really trust our leadership, and whether in Cyprus, when Badr Abdul was also there, our top diplomat, and he spoke to reporters, speaking about the full rejection of Egypt to the liquidation of the Palestinian cause and any attempt to displace the Palestinians out of their land. But sir, how do you see that this stance of a number of other Western countries like Spain, like Belgium, like Norway, which all said that they are going to recognize a Palestinian state, and this is going to be in front of the whole world in the coming meeting of the UN General Assembly?
One of the most important positive outcomes of the Egyptian efforts. reach now to the point that a leader of a great country like France aiming and declaring that he is going to recognize a Palestinian state. That's a very important step. But what sort of state we are talking about? I'm talking about the state the Arabs in the occupied lands deserve after 100 years of martyrs, of struggle, of sacrifices like no other country has witnessed before. I'm talking about a whole lot of state with all authorities. I'm talking about presidency, I'm talking about a parliament, I'm talking about an army, I'm talking about a police, a Palestinian army and a Palestinian police and a Palestinian administration with full recognized authorities from all over the world, not just a state without an army, not just a state led or manipulated by other forces whatsoever. We need to see that concept, that legitimate concept of a state like any other state in the whole world applied in Palestine or in Gaza.
I do agree that we need an independent Palestinian state with Al-Quds as its capital on the borders of the June 4th, 1967. But, sir, if you permit me, the two-state solution was a concept which was not repeated that much by the Western countries and not repeated that much by the international community at large. And now the case is totally different with flotillas, for example, going, and they already started their trip from Tunisia with activists from all over the world, including the grandson of Nelson Mandela, for example. This is another message to the whole world saying that Africa is part and parcel of the issue. And these were the statements released by Mandela, for example. How do you see this, and how do you see this as another message to the whole world?
It's a dangerous message to the Zionist existence. Why? Because the Zionist existence was always having that guarantees that the international media is totally manipulating people's minds and people's public opinion. Today, peoples all over the world do not believe anymore the international media. They see what they say and they go the other way, especially when they're talking about crises like Ukraine, crises like the Palestinian cause, crises even in the heart of Europe or in the heart of the US. Today, people have rebelled against that red lines that were drawn with the Zionist media that controls the public opinion for more than a century today. Everything is changing. People do not believe anymore but what they see, what they hear by themselves, especially that they have already the materials coming from the occupied lands. They don't need X or V to say what happened in Palestine today. They have the sources coming right away, and that's why Israel has deliberately killed more than hundreds of journalists and reporters in the occupied lands. But despite of this, we have still carrying out. They are still
everyone now can be a journalist with his mobile. It's social media.
Exactly.
Simply no data.
So there is no way to hide the truth.
No videos can be hidden. Sir, let me, if you permit me, return back to the UN General Assembly. I mean, in few days, the whole world are going to focus on this. While the Trump administration banned visas for the about 80 Palestinian officials, on top of the list is Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas. How do you see this also as part and parcel of the story, or part and parcel of the image now very much clear in front of the whole world?
Well, thanks to Trump and his administration, given by the European and the American public opinion. Thanks for making it clear which side you are standing and supporting the aggression. You are supporting and standing behind the aggression. Thank you for making it clear for all those peoples around the world. That means even more strikes, strategic, diplomatic in the field of media, on the ground, all over the world against these young. It's losing lands each and every moment we are speaking. Maybe he's expanding his borders with influence all the way to Euphrates, that like he had declared today. But on the meantime, he is more, like you have kindly mentioned, he is more surrounded each and every day, politically, diplomatically. Those forces of public opinion forced the leaders of Europe, like in Belgium, like in France, like other countries, forced them to declare their recognition of a Palestinian state. They can never underestimate the power of public opinion.
Great, but again, when it comes to Germany, they said they banned exporting weapons to Israel until further notice. Mette Frederiksen of Denmark said Netanyahu became a problem in himself. Belgium, despite the division of whether to recognize or not recognize an independent Palestinian state or a Palestinian state, they are considering sanctions on Israel. Do you see that these moves are going to do something on the ground, or just rhetoric or hard language, anything which is not going to have tangible results on the ground? Which is which, sir?
On the contrary, such actions, such decisions should be completed with the same decisions in the Arab world. We have economical ties according to the peace operation with the Zionist existence. We should cut those ties. We can press them on where exactly they can be hurted. Their economy is the main vein for their life, of course, along with their own army. So if we can cut or threaten to cut political economical ties with Israel, that can really push them around and make them think twice before they are trying to invade even more of the Arabic lands.
Sir, thank you very much for your input and have a very good day.
Thank you for having me.
Right after the short break, we are going to return back with more, so stay tuned only on Nile TV International.